right, so congratulations to Hot Boys on their 2-0 domination over something heroic. For our second game, we're going to go to Division D East. It is not throwing, or hashtag not throwing, versus the MHS Tigers. Game 1 will also be on Infernal Shrines. However, Game 2 will be played on Battlefield of Eternity. In my humble opinion, the only good two-lane map they have put out. How do you feel about Battlefield of Eternity?
There's definitely, I don't know. I've not always been the biggest fan of the map, but like after playing it in like actual structured games, there's a lot of like nuance to it that you may not see in other maps.
Yeah, in just kind of generally speaking, Heroes of the Storm, solo queue, even Team League, compared to the experience that you get in a 5-on-5 competitive, even amateur competitive structured game, it's really like two different games. It's way more fun playing in a structured environment like that. All right, so let's go ahead and load up into Game 1, Infernal Shrines, Division. Oh, let me change that on the overlay here. Division D. And let's go ahead and jump into this Game 1. Maybe. There we go. Well, it really thought about that. Took its sweet time there. Oh, you know what? And one of the players from the MHX Tigers actually was kind enough to send me how these drafts went. So let me pull that up, and we'll actually pause the replay, and we can kind of verbally go over the draft. Let me just find it here. Here we go. So Infernal Shrines, hashtag not throwing had first ban, so that means this was Tiger's map of choice. So hashtag not throwing bans Phoenix, and the MH Tigers ban Artanis. Phoenix one doesn't surprise me very much. You still see him banned from time to time, although I think he's in a good spot. He's not crazy powerful like he was on release. He's strong. The Artanis ban is a little odd for a first ban. It makes you wonder when these teams do their homework if maybe that was a targeted ban.
If I remember correctly, Artanis is a favorite pick of Jacobot, so it may have
Oh,
been that targeted ban.
look at Summer Ash coming in with the inside info there. So first pick, not throwing takes Blaze. That's a really solid first pick. Tigers responds with Alex Straza on probably her strongest map, either this or Volskaya, and Junkrat.
Yeah, my team has played Alex Strauss and Junkrat on this map a ton, and they're both amazing here. It's definitely some very good picks.
Hashtag not throwing their last rotation coming out before the second ban phase comes out with Chromie and Morales. So before the second ban phase, not throwing has Blaze, Chromie, and Morales, and the Tigers have Alex Straza and Junkrat. Tigers come back with a Greymane ban, and hashtag not throwing comes back with a Diablo ban. I think both of those pretty straightforward and solid.
Yep.
After the second ban, we have ETC and almost never seen Zool. I even mentioned it first game, kind of back in the day, you would see this Zool double soaking during the first objective on Shrines. We might see that coming out of Tigers here. Hashtag not throwing responds with a Muradin and a Tychus, and the Tigers rounding it out with a Malthael.
Yeah, the Zool is definitely an interesting pick. I know Bimeduo is a very strong specialist player. Like he plays a lot of the specialists very, very well.
And
but I haven't seen him play Zool.
And hats off to him because he is actually the gentleman who was kind enough to send me that draft information. So blue team here, hashtag not throwing. We have JakeBot on Blaze, Dark D Marcon, I'm going to say, on
Yeah.
Tychus, Arenia on Morales, Archangel on somebody I can't see in the big cluster, Archangel on Chromie, and one of my very favorite names in this game, General Confusion on the Muradin.
Then on the right, we have Winslow on Junkrat, Wolf Dark on ETC, Garchomp Chum on Alex Straza, Beepwob 757 on Malthael, and Bimeruo on the Zool, already in the bot lane.
So Blaze going to take the solo for the side of not throwing. It looks like Junkrat for the time being is going to go up there. I would have kind of expected Malthael to go tango with Blaze up there. And
Malthael
both
definitely is very favored in Blaze.
Yeah, that's why I think that would be the one. A power slide on a Muradin, he does not care about that. And it looks like both sides opting for a 1-3-1 right now.
Team Archon in bot lane actually barely escaped with about 68 health on the Tychus. So
Yeah. I think since that kind of minor rework Zool got a bit ago, where they kind of toned down his wave clear just a little bit and tried to give him a little more stuff to do in team fights, when you don't see him that much, I think his damage can kind of sneak up on you a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the with his W with the auto attack speed reduction. Going into the Tychus is not going to be able to do a lot of damage.
So we'll go ahead and check in each of these lanes. It looks like top lane JakeBot a slight win on the Junkrat there. Mid lane certainly favoring the Tigers with the Malthael there. And bottom lane is going to favor Zool, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have really liked to seen out of MHS Tigers sending the Malthael to the top, and the rest of the 4-man with the Zool. They could have really ripped through these rotations.
Bearden's heading up to the top lane, perhaps to
picking up
just holding the lane while Blaze is taking the bruiser camp for them.
So not throwing, doing a little more prioritization on the camps. Nobody from Tigers has started that yet. And it looks like the timing for not throwing is going to be pretty close to perfect on that Merc camp. Except for JakeBot having a hard time with it there. That little chief man standing strong and refilled his life while JakeBot has to go polish it off.
Yeah, before Blaze gets level 7, it's actually pretty difficult for him to take camps without those Incinerator Gauntlets giving the 15% extra damage to mercenaries.
Well, especially those camps in particular are one of the more difficult ones to tank.
Yep. It's very difficult to kite them, and of course you can't just avoid the damage like Siege Giants.
And big time power slide in by Wolf Dunk on ETC. However, Chromie, Muradin got the kill, but that was really off the back of that Chromie combo that chunked out both Alex Straza and ETC.
Yeah. They're going to be chasing down Zool, Muradin diving in, Blaze getting the stun, and Tychus getting in the damage to take him out.
Now, going into this game, as we talked to last game, you wouldn't know it by how this early game is going, but according to my research, hashtag not throwing coming into this game this week 0-6, and the MHS Tigers 6-0. So it will be interesting to see how this game plays out. I've been on the 0-6 team 2 or 3 seasons ago in my chair league. My team went 1-9, and by the end of the season, it just feels bad. Picking up that first win can be such a confidence booster.
Bearden's jump got interrupted as he was trying to escape, but Lieutenant Rouse was able to bail him out, and not throwing picks up the Punisher.
Yeah, that Chromie poke into the Alex Straza. One of the reasons Alex Straza is so strong on this map, John Cena almost takes out ETC there, is once she pops Dragon Queen, most of the time you gotta peel back out of that. You really don't want to engage into Dragon Queen if you can avoid it. MHS Tigers did do that at the end, but by that time, hashtag not throwing was so close to picking it up that Chromie was just able to poke out the difference.
Yeah.
So
they weren't able to bait the Punisher over the wall before the wall could be taken down, so they do lose all of the structures up to the fort. It takes a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, for a first Punisher of the game, not throwing really got a lot of value out of that. About a half-level lead as well. And so far, yeah, they are going on an invade. This is a 4-on-4. Zool is working his way down, though. Blaze is not.
Malthael's low, but gets away. ETC's really afraid of that Chromie damage now.
Now it is a 5-on-4 in favor of the Tigers. Blaze is arriving now, and he is going to arrive just in time to maybe mop up a 1-for-1. Morales and Malthael going down, but the camp going over to the Tigers. You know, the Heroes meme, the focus Morales, get her down. With a Blaze and a Muradin in front of you, that Morales should feel pretty safe this game. And not a whole lot of dive on the side of the Tigers. So it will be interesting to see how they deal with the Morales on the side of not throwing.
Based on their comp, they really have to just either burn her out of energy or let Junkrat just poke before they engage. They really don't have any other options.
Yeah, it's going to be the Junkrat as the key, I think, to spread damage. Spread. And then make her forced to constantly switch healing targets. You know, that's a lot to ask of your Morales when you've got a lot of AoE poke damage going around like that.
And Malthael didn't pick up the Hand of Death, which could reduce healing, but opted not to take it.
Chromie, a little too far forward there, gets absolutely stomped. Dragon Queen, this is something that Tigers clearly wanted. Riptire going out. We got to spread out there, boys, and only Morales eats it, but she does stay alive. Both sides have picked up their heroics. We have Avatar for Muradin, Slowing Sands for Chromie, Commandeer Odin out of Tychus, Bunker for Blaze, and Medevac coming out of the Morales there.
They may be trying to do something with that Medevac. We'll see.
I mean, there's no really glaringly obvious target for Stim Drone. I mean, I guess you could put it on the Tychus, but typically you're going to see it on like a Greymane or something like that. And if he's in Commandeer Odin anyway, the Team Global could certainly be powerful if utilized correctly.
Definitely. I am kind of surprised to see the Slowing Sands, though. They don't have a cleanse. Oh. Mosh goes down onto 2, and it's in. Okay.
There was a lot that happened there.
Yeah, sorry, I was not following that well.
A lot went there. They're fighting into Slowing Sands. Typically, you don't see that happen, but they come out on top with a 3-2 win. Only Blaze and Chromie alive. Chromie is out of it, but Blaze sticks around and is the 4th kill. So 4-2 in favor of MHS Tigers. Right as the objective pops, and they secure the Mercs. It looks like we had some DCs there. I hope that those guys got their guys back.
It's just, I think it's kind of a miracle that ETC lived. He went down to 15 health and got stuck in the time trap during the match.
Yeah.
But then coming out of the time trap, 4 people were stuck in that mosh pit.
Yeah, I think
so Alex Rose was able to get her healing off.
I think the time trap actually probably saved him.
Absolutely.
However, Dragon Queen is down on a long cooldown. All 5 members of Not Throwing are up and here. This might be the fight they wanted with the heroics for Tigers down and the Not Throwing. They do have theirs up, the much shorter cooldown variety.
Dragon Queen just came off a cooldown, and we'll see it being popped right away.
However, they focus her anyway, and she is pretty low. Tyke is getting chunked out on the backside. Morales has to keep her up. Now Muradin is in trouble. There goes Commandeer Odin. The bunker saves Blaze's life, and Malthael getting absolutely obliterated by Tychus. in the middle of all of that, John Cena is captured, not throw. I apologize. Not throwing needs to be careful that Tychus doesn't join, or I'm sorry, John Cena doesn't join this fight, and he does. Onto Chromie, the timeout to try to save herself from Alexstrasza. It would be a miracle if she got out of this, though, and no, she does not. Nice grenade on Morales to kind of bop that Tiger back. Muradin in trouble. Diving away,
Power
so that...
slide not quite enough to reach. Alex is being poked down by Blaze, but she's going to be fine.
So that was a very chaotic, all over the place fight. John Cena onto the Tychus. 13 advantage for Tigers here. They get the objective, and Muradin running for his life. As is Morales. A triple stun on the jet propulsion, immediately followed up by John Cena. However, the mosh pit ends up getting ETC killed. That was a very bizarre sequence there. You had a triple stun on the jet propulsion, then John Cena followed up on it, then a mosh pit that ends up with ETC going down.
It's just been non-stop fighting this game. Alexstrasza gets nuked by the Dragon's Eye, and Malthael teleports in and gets stunned and locked down, and also is killed.
So a excellent counter engage there coming out for the side of not throwing, and an immediate invade onto the side of Tiger's bruisers here. Nice decisive call.
Yeah. Something I was trying to say when all that fighting started, I'm kind of surprised to see Chromie taking the slowing sands. Like, they do have a lot of... Tigers doesn't have a cleanse, so with the Dragon's Breath build, usually you'd see slowing the temporal loop. Follow up on that.
Absolutely.
Set that up.
Yeah, you could, and there's a lot of good targets. I mean, basically, other than ETC, you can set up the kill on almost anybody else, especially if you have a Blaze or a Muradin following up with a stun on the backside of it. Just to play devil's advocate, though, slowing sands on shrines is pretty solid always. So I think both have their arguments, but I would go with you. I would have probably gone with the temporal loop as well.
Zul's positioning on that bottom camp while Morales and Tychus are taking it.
I wonder what he's planning on doing here. I don't think he can do much. His team is too far away.
Yeah.
He's going to invade 1-on-2, and he was a little late on it. I think he was kind of questioning himself there a little bit and was a little indecisive as a result.
Yeah. Yeah, with none of his team nearby, there's very little Vimetto could do there.
So early 16 advantage for the side of the Tigers. Not throwing, definitely going to get 16s before this next objective, though. It's right around the corner. So 9 kills to 8. Structures, slight advantage to Tigers. Otherwise, though, this game is pretty close. This is not the kind of game you expect to see coming from an 0-6 team versus a 6-0 team.
Definitely not. But it does look like not throwing is going to be a little slow in the rotation, so Tigers is going to get an early lead on this objective.
There's the medevac into a very aggressive position. Morales and Tychus need to be super careful there. Although it's ETC who actually gets caught in a time trap again. Follow-up stun by the Blaze. And then the bunker to body block. He has to use Mosh Pit defensively. Catches 2 there. Muradin pops Avatar. Malthael on the backline against Tychus. Morales keeping him up though. Commandeer Odin comes out just a little bit late, and it's Last Rites that gets the kill. Malthael counter-killed all over the place. However, once Alexstrasza comes down, she has really popped all her bullets, and right in the middle of not throwing, I will say Archangel did a nice job there of throwing a ton of damage onto the backside.
I'd expect that Cleansing Flame was intended to save Malthael, but it did come out a little bit too late for that. It's like being popped just after he went down.
And nice stun from the Blaze. Archangel doing a lot of damage, and Blaze able to finish off the Alexstrasza. Tigers here does have a 26 Shrine Guardian lead. They really need to zone Junkrat out of this, and there goes JakeBot to make sure that Junkrat stays away. Tigers not giving this one up, though. They know that they're close. I don't think they'll be able to do it, though. However,
not throwing has too much of a lead on this objective, but they are going for the invade. Bunker gets popped, power slide onto the Chromie. Last Rights takes her out.
If John Cena jumps in this fight, Tigers is going to be in a bad situation here. And
I think he's too far away at this point.
Well, he did go on to Junkrat there, and now he is right in the thick of this again. Tigers running for their lives. Zool is able to go down, as did Chromie, so it ended up being a 1-for-1, and the Frozen Punisher is going to take down mid-fort, 100%, no doubt about it. ETC might get jumped on.
Yeah, that's the point where you just have to give up on the fort and go defend at the keep wall.
Yeah, ETC could have been in trouble there if somebody from not throwing was able to get a follow-up stun onto the Punisher.
That's what they need to get the Punisher over that wall.
Is this a bot Alex Straza? Because it does show.
Oh, it is.
Oh, that's sad face. That always feels bad.
Yeah, that would explain a lot of the decision making.
Yeah, for sure. I just noticed that. I wonder how long it's been like that. And that might explain some of the reasons on why this game has gone. Despite the bot Alex Straza, though, still a pretty close game. The bots and heroes are so hit or miss. Sometimes they seem like they're really Johnny on the spot, and sometimes they feel like, just some little kid playing and running down the mid lane for no reason.
Yeah. I've said this before, and I say this all the time. Bot Nazebo is OP. I'm serious. Like, he will never miss his spiders. Ever. Doesn't matter how you try to juke it out, it always lands.
Now, the aggressive invade here, coming out by the side of the Tigers. Chromie face checks the bush, eats a concussion mine. Archangel in a lot of trouble, does use the timeout in the slowing stance. Now, that's a 7-second stasis that might save her and the bunker as well. The mosh pit, it is Chromie's going to fall, though. I can't imagine ETC is going to stay alive, and he is, despite Tychus chunking out there. Once again, another drop-down bar brawl of a fight here. Two members of Not Throwing go out, and a number of Tigers escape with nothing much more than their life. Tychus a third.
They just look to take this keep here.
Yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is why your backliners should not face check the bushes.
ETC getting a good power slide in, the concussion mine as well. Reardon's just a little bit too slippery for them to lock him down, but it might be enough pressure just to keep him away.
Yeah, this fort is certainly, or keep I should say, is 100% going to go down. I imagine the Tigers probably simply withdraw after that happens.
Zool did back to clear the mid camp that was pushing their keep, so they're not going to be able to push in anymore without the Zool pressure.
I mean, that fight would have been very different if Not Throwing had to kind of charge in there to try to save Chromie. You know, if that was a Blaze or a Muradin who got concussion mined in instead, that would have been a very different fight.
Tigers does pick up 20 before Not Throwing.
However, bot Alex Straza in a world of trouble here.
Yeah.
And down she goes. Luckily, not a full cooldown on the Cleansing Flame, though.
There's some interesting picks that I have not seen very often. No one can stop death, the respawn from Malthael. The bot choosing to take Blessing of the Red, use a Cannonball, and cooldown of Death. But Death Metal on EDC.
Now, I will run Death Metal from time to time. I play a ton of ETC. He has all of his level 20 talents, I think, have a place.
Definitely.
I mean, if you land a Death Metal, there is the Mosh Pit, and there's the Riptire into it, and Tychus goes down. So, like, if ETC suicides here if he wants to, not that I'm saying he should, but he has been dying a lot on his own Mosh Pit, so if you land a good Mosh Pit and then die, you can definitely get some value out of Death Metal.
Yeah.
This is an absolutely bonkers game.
A lot of fighting on this back end. Malthael is completely out of mana fighting 1v3 here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he gets out of
If he
this.
doesn't get help, he's not getting out.
They opt to decide that the Punisher is more important, and he does get out? No, he doesn't. All right.
Likely going to see him simply choose to respawn here. Yeah, Malthael has returned.
So I guess just kind of suiciding in to use his respawn and hold those 3 members away for the objective.
Something interesting on the side of not throwing, Lieutenant Morales took reinforcements, having the cooldown of medevac.
Now they haven't really seemed to get a whole lot of use out of medevac this game, so that does surprise me a little bit.
Yeah.
Chromie eats the Punisher over the wall. Not your ideal target for her to eat that damage. Hashtag not throwing needs to be careful. Those lasers have sneaky high damage, and you do not want to have everyone on your team eat those.
Double stun coming out for the Punisher. But Blaze hits the re-engage. Avatar coming out. There's no mosh pit yet for EDC.
Not needed as the isolation on ETC comes out, picks up the Tychus. Riptire going out. Muradin has no mana, and Malthael gets him. This is 100% going to be game. Game 1 victory here picked up for the Tigers on what was a really kind of wacky game.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of back and forth in that mid game, and it didn't seem like Tigers had much of an advantage coming out of the early game, but they definitely pulled it back really well in a lot of those end game team fights.
Yeah, even more impressive that they did it with a bot Alex Straza for, I don't know, a good long while there. I'm curious to see if we're going to see a different player. I mean, the replays are weird sometimes. Maybe it wasn't a bot. Who knows? I wonder if it'll be a different player next time. If we see a different player out of them, you know it was probably actually a DC. So pretty close game there. Hashtag not throwing, not quite able to pull it out there. But this game too, which should be pretty interesting. Game 2 will be on Battlefield of Eternity, and with all the brawling that we saw there in Game 1, I imagine we're going to see much more of the same here in Game 2.
Yeah, a lot of that fighting that was going on, like in and around the shrines, like that happens a lot more on Battlefield of Eternity during that objective phase.
Excuse me, 100% true. Once again, we have the draft information. MHS Tigers first banning Hanzo on BOE makes 100% perfect sense. Not throwing, responding with a Phoenix ban. Tigers first taking Vala. This is pretty much the only map you see her on anymore. Not throwing responds with a Genji Tracer going super mobile. Tigers into a Diablo Malfurion, Junkrat ban, an Artanis ban, and then an Abathur Garrosh, followed by a Gazlo Blaze and a last pick Nova. Welcome to Division D, where Gazlo, Nova, and Abathur all appear in the same game. So for the blue team, hashtag not throwing, general confusion, which was an excellent way to describe that first game. It was all over the place. On the Garrosh, Arenia on Tracer, Archangel on Nova, Demarcon on the Abba, and Jakebot on... Who is that? That's the band skin. On the Genjo.
On the right side, we see Winslow on the Malfurion, Wolf Dark on the Blaze, Merlin X on Diablo, Bebop on Vala, and Bimedo on his famous Gazlo.
Oh, his Gazlo is famous. That makes sense now. I didn't really look at the names. I just saw the draft, and I was like, what in the world is going on here?
Garrosh may be in a bit of trouble, but gets just enough healing from his W to get out.
What I'm worried about on the side of hashtag not throwing here is where their wave clear is going to come from.
Yeah, they don't have a ton, except for Abathur, really. Also, something else I just noticed, that is a solo support Abathur.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Tracer going in and getting with Nova getting a double kill, but trading Tracer for it.
This this game, man, I don't even know how to look at these comps. Obviously, a much more traditional comp out of the side of Tigers. I would certainly give them the compositional advantage. However, sometimes these wonky comps, if a team doesn't know what to do with it, you can see some weird stuff happen.
Yeah. Nova is top with Genji for a gank on the Gazlo, but he walks out just fine.
In the bottom lane, Garrosh chucked Vala, but he was all by his lonesome, nowhere to go, and down Garrosh goes. He was kind of by himself down there. I'm a little surprised that he was so aggressive, considering he was solo laning there.
Another interesting thing about the solo support Abathur did not take the healing talent at level 1, instead opting for the toxic nest damage.
Well, that would explain that he had a whole mine trap here in the bush here in the bottom lane. So he looks like he's going to go mine build. Bottom camp secured by the Tigers. Boy, Arenia on Tracer is super aggressive, and a hatted Nova picks up the Vala kill in the bot lane.
Nova made a very clutch dodge, not getting hit by the pulse bomb, but gets hit by the Nova. Would have won that trade if not for the Abathur carapace.
Diablo picked up by a hatted Tracer. Now, I will say, with the Genji and the Tracer and a Nova, if hashtag not throwing wins a team fight, I don't see anybody escaping from the side of Tigers. A Genji and a Tracer will be able to pursue basically indefinitely. Nobody should be getting away.
They need Diablo in these fights to keep Tracer and Genji off of the Vala.
Look at this bush here. If Vala walks through that, she will absolutely explode. You can see Tracer trying to bait them over, but instead they're going to go ahead and pick up the Garrosh. Is it Malfurion is going to eat that entire bush and almost goes 100-0. If that was Vala, I'm pretty sure she dies.
Yeah, just checking the health totals. Malfurion right now has a maximum of 1900, while Vala has 1500.
So I think she dies there.
Yeah, Malfurion lived with 300 health. So, yeah. Vala definitely cannot walk into bushes alone ever.
No, and even game. Malfurion shouldn't be doing it either.
No.
Obviously, with the Vala, the side of the Tigers here will win the burn battle. Not throwing needs to be fighting. They want to fight. That's what their whole team.
Yeah, not throwing doesn't really have anyone that can compete with Vala.
Nope.
Like, at all.
In early game, Vala is not spectacular. She needs her build to come online a little bit. Once that comes on, she will burn this thing even faster. And we didn't even talk about a gas burn.
Yeah, especially if Gazlo takes the Robo Goblin at level 10.
Oh, yeah.
He's just going to be melting that thing.
Nice recall there by Arenia, getting herself out of trouble. But first objective solidly going to the side of Tigers. However, despite that, this experience-wise is dead even, and Genji picks up the Blaze. Arenia has absolutely no fear. She just hangs around on this Tracer regardless of how much life she has. Vala picking up both Tracer and Genji, though. Nova in trouble. Abahat, will it save her? 49 hit points she escapes with.
Maybe chasing a little too far, but turns out just in time to not get hit by the Q.
I mention this on most of my casts whenever I see that kind of escaping by the skin of my teeth. The lowest hit point total I've had in any of the games that I casted was 2. I had somebody escape with 2 hit points. It's about as close as it's going to get. Now Abathur trying to bait Gazlo into these bushes, and he does! I kind of wanted to catch that on camera. I saw that. However, he lives, and Abba now running for his little wormy life and able to just slug away.
Yeah. Gazlo did not take the slow on rocket turrets, so it's going to be better for teamfight, but less for slowing down all of those mobile targets.
Blaze does get chucked over here. I don't think he's getting out of that, and he isn't. Nice job by General Confusion picking up the kill on the Garrosh. As fun as this game is going to be, I have a hard time seeing how not throwing is going to pick up the win this game.
Yeah, they're definitely fighting an uphill battle. It seems like Tigers both has the advantage both like in race as well as in team fights.
Yeah, and in wave clear, and in durability, and now in
Not
level.
is going to have to pull out a miracle to win this game.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was pulling for him just because I would have loved to have seen a wacky comp pull out something like this.
Did you see Robo Goblin come out as well as the standard picks Bunker, Twilight Dream, and Apocalypse? Garrosh may just be dead here because of that APOC Brute combo.
Gets
out.
Nope.
46 health and then catches the Vala Q.
Now I will say we do have the Mule coming out of the ABBA, so if these structures don't get finished off, they will be able to heal him back up. Nova almost gets the Malfurion, but not quite.
It's amazing seeing all the low health bars. Malfurion got away with 96 health.
I mean, hashtag not throwing is just kind of diving into everything. They are YOLOing pretty much every situation. And he is going to get the Vala. Now, if you can trade 1-for-1 down 3 levels, that's not a terrible idea, but you got to take someone with you.
Yeah. Another thing is, the Tracer did take the untouchable talent to level 4, so giving up those stacks means you're not getting a lot of value out of that talent.
100%, yeah. Trading is okay if you're not stacking untouchable.
Yeah.
Nice job using the bunker to tank the keep. Really well played. They're going to get this keep. I don't see how they don't. Although their damage isn't here, so maybe they don't. And this is the infinite chase that we were talking about, though. I mean, there's
just have a ton of pressure onto the squishy targets.
Yeah, if you if you overstay your welcome as Tigers, you're not going to get away. They cannot stay for too long with a Genji and a Tracer. Now Vala may have overstepped her bounds, and she does, so that's 2 kills. They need to freshen up, though, and get on this objective, because Gazlo is going to rip through this. It's already halftime. So we do have Ultimate Evolution out of Abathur. Pretty sure we saw Dragon Strike there out of Genji. Triple Tap out of Nova. Warlord's Taunt out of Garrosh. And Quantum Spike out of Tracer. They need to defend this. They can't just give up another one. Now,
yeah, based on how well they pushed on the first one, it could be game off of the second Immortal. Did you see the Tracer clone coming out, going onto the... Both Tracers now going onto the Malfurion and burning him down with the Nova. The clone goes down there, and Garrosh is on low health, and without...
There's the triple tap. Now everybody on the side of the Tigers is too low to really try to eat that. Tracer is going to get another kill on the Vala. You know, they did get the objective, but there's not going to be many people alive to contest this. Nova does not go down. Jakebot coming in with the damage on the Blaze. That's 3 unanswered kills for the side of not throwing, and that Immortal is not going to get any help in the top lane.
There's just now some very interesting talent picks that we wouldn't usually see. Nova took Advanced Cloaking into Bribe, but then Anti-Armor Shells at level 7.
That's very surprising to me. Nova's one of my favorite heroes. I don't get to play her much now because I tank, but that is probably the one I least pick at 7.
One definitely rarest talent.
Yeah, usually you're going to go Snipe build or the one in the chamber.
Blaze actually went into the Grill and Kill build, which is still very strong, but not seen very often anymore.
Well, and there's really not a lot of stationary targets. 2 quick kills for not throwing. Gazlo and Malfurion going down. Genji does pay for it, but we actually have a Nova clone. Vala is in a world of trouble, and there goes Nova. Vala goes down.
Nova goes down as well.
4-4-2. But most importantly, Tracer, not one of the 2. Her stacks have got to be high at this point. 8 untouchable stacks. Blaze is never going to get away from this.
He does finish Grill and Kill, but it's not going to mean much if he dies. Yeah.
There's no way he doesn't. The Infinite Pursuit. Yeah. And look, both keeps up. Mule working full time, even level here. Kills actually in favor of hashtag not throwing. Like I said, sometimes these weird comps, there just doesn't seem to be a way to deal with them. And in those last two team fights, Tigers seem to be struggling a little bit with the just, I'm going to be punny, the general confusion coming out of not throwing's composition.
Yeah, another thing is they're back to even in experience. They were down 3 levels, 7 to 10.
Yep. And
But
Tracer,
they have that level 10 on both Tracer pulse bombs as well as the Abathur clone. They've been holding their own in team fights.
and I will say with untouchable stacks, Tracer can actually race, not obviously by herself, but she can burn that Immortal fairly quickly.
Yeah. She does have 9 stacks now, and I believe it is 8 where you start getting a ton of value out of it.
Yeah, so she is going to be doing some. They do flip Diablo. That's not the target you want. Nova and Tracer not quite here yet. Here comes Nova on the backside. Let's see who she focuses on. Not revealing herself yet. Halftime already won by MHS Tigers. However, now the 5-on-5 has started. Nova going on to Vala. The APOC stuns her out of triple tap, saving Vala. However, Genjo...
Abathur just walked straight into that fight. And was able to get away with the help of Garrosh. Diablo goes down, and so does Genji, but Abathur barely gets the clone off in time. Looks like he might get this Vala here.
Now, I've been watching Vala basically this entire fight. Genjo and then clone Genjo just dive on her, and she is getting no value because she's just running the whole time to stay alive. So
Spunker does save Malfurion from the Nova, but we'll see if she re-engages. Blaze getting thrown in, and dashing into the Tracer damage.
now this is all well and good for hashtag not throwing, but they need to get some bunker or objective burn here. And this has got to be full stacks for Tracer now.
She has 14 stacks.
One more.
Yeah, Diablo's the only one alive. Follow will be up in a sec. But
Diablo's going to die here.
Burning. Yeah. Diablo's 100% dead.
They just need to send Tracer onto the objective while everyone else defends once the members start spawning, of course. They can't let Vala just AFK push, yeah. They need to send like Nova. Nova and Garrosh will be enough to keep Vala away.
Garrosh may actually go down from the damage. And, yeah.
Now Genjo, and yeah, this will be enough to get Vala off it too. Vala's in trouble, actually. Vala's going to die.
Yeah, Vala is dead. All 3 of their mobile assassins on her, like, Vala doesn't stand a chance.
It just feels like, honestly, the Tigers don't quite know what to do with this all over the place, hyper-mobile composition, no support coming out of hashtag not throwing. And the other thing to keep in mind, they do win the objective, not throwing does, is kills now firmly in favor of hashtag not throwing. The longer the game goes on, the more those kills are going to mean as these timers get longer and longer.
Yeah.
Mule,
especially now that Tracer is fully stacked on the untouchable, she's dealing a ton of damage.
and also Abba has completely repaired both keeps for the side of not throwing. So all of that struggling and sieging that they did on those keeps has basically meant nothing. And now they're up in level too. Things, oddly enough, looking good for not throwing with this very unorthodox comp. Their sieging potential basically non-existent. They want to get a kill. Oh, general confusion, unable to get onto Malf or Blaze there. Nova triple taps onto Vala again and eats the APOC again. I think Nova needs to wait out that APOC, because anytime she goes into triple tap, the APOC is ruining it.
They're all very clumped up. The Twilight Dream misses the Genji, so he's able to just go in and clean up. Vala's very low health and goes down to the Tracer. Pulse Bomb out on the Gaslow.
And there's the Infinite Pursuit.
He's still dead. Probably going to see Malfurion go down to Tracer. Ice Block stalls it for a second. Now she's on him, and he's down. He goes down.
However, no recall from Tracer. That was 100% not worth it.
Yeah. Losing all 16 of those stacks is definitely going to hurt them in this game.
Garrosh just so annoying to bring down.
Especially with the shields from Abathur. That armor does count for the shield health too.
I think the move for Tracer was once that ice block was plopped on Malfurion, that was your cue to leave.
Yeah. Staying in for that kill and losing the stacks really is going to hurt their damage in teamfights and for racing.
Nova finally getting some value out of that bribe. I really want to see Nova hold off on that triple tap until after APOC, because that's twice it's been interrupted now, and twice the APOC has saved Vala. If APOC wasn't up, Nova gets those kills on Vala both times.
Yeah, definitely. Tigers is going to have two camps pushing the top lane while onto a keep.
Oh, Vala in trouble. The taunt into the Nova. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe she got away. Genjo is going to go finish him off, maybe? There's the Genji clone. And Vala using the bunker. I still don't imagine how she gets away. B-Blob barely escaping. Poor Vala this game has spent more time just running for her life than actually playing the role of assassin, it seems like.
Yeah. But with the Malfurion self, she's able to live. Diablo getting that percent damage onto the Garrosh definitely helps. Tracer gets away on 40 health.
No, oh, that Q hit. She wasn't coming back.
Just getting out of the Q and dies to the W while trying to mount.
Now you could actually see the noticeable damage lowering off of those stack losses there.
Yeah, definitely. If she'd had that damage, Vala would have been dead much earlier in that fight.
And this might be game here on this. The anti-siege potential for not throwing is pretty low.
Yeah, they're basically relying on getting kills in between now and when the Immortal gets onto their keep. And if Tigers doesn't let them get that opportunity, they're not going to be able to defend this.
The silver lining, though, is both of these keeps, as we mentioned, full strength. Oh, Nova revealed the stun. I'm not able to get her, though, but she is in a world of trouble. Genjo does go onto the Vala, forces the bunker to come out. Nova and Genji going to have to retreat here. Both teams will be up.
A little far forward.
He doesn't get caught, taunted. Gazlo probably going down here.
Really?
Nope, his team does arrive, but he does get thrown. APOC catches nobody. Now is the chance for Nova to use that triple tap. If
Clone's already down, Nova goes down in the back to Vala's damage.
I like what Tracer Abba's doing here. They're just burning this Immortal as much as they can. I still think this is going to be game.
Yeah,
I mean,
Garrosh gets taken down by the Vala, and Tracer might get. Yeah, Tracer gets away. Never mind.
Yeah, 100% game. I really think #NotThrowing. They were in an excellent spot up until Tracer lost their stacks. That was really the kind of straw that broke the camel's back, if you will.
Yeah, with the damage that they had before then, Tracer and Genji were just able to jump on Vala and kill her before Bunker could come down or Malfurion could get any heals or anything.
Yeah, and not throwing for as far behind as they were, they really made a game out of that and actually took the momentum and level advantage in a big way, but weren't able to parlay that Immortal into any more of an advantage, unfortunately. But this was quite a brawl. A combined 59 kills for both teams. That's a lot of kills.
Yeah, it was really back and forth in that mid game.
All right, so 2-0 victory to MHS Tigers, now continuing their undefeated streak in Division D East, 7-0. Our last game of our triple header before I go get something to eat, because I am really hungry, is going to be Team Awesome Sauce versus Team Mapitas out of Division C West. I've cast Team Mapitas, I think, 2 or 3 times this season. Just for whatever reason, they seem to be the one that fits into my schedule more often than not. And this is going to be Division C. Let's go ahead and change that. Team Awesome Sauce coming into this game, 3 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, having a really solid season. And Team Mapitas, 1 win, 4 draws, 1 loss. So actually, of our 3 games, this one should be the closest record-wise going into it. So we'll see how these two teams do.